guess you could say a slow news start to the NBA season. I know, at least for me, this is my first podcast since the NBA season has started. What we're like 14, 15 games in. I only had to disappear for 3 weeks. No big deal.
You were here for the season opener.
I guess. I feel like I haven't been able to talk basketball in like years because of it. And it's so funny because I had to teach a class down in Flagler about podcasting, and the whole thing was like, consistency is key. And I'm like, I'm such a fraud for saying that. I said consistency is key. I haven't been on the podcast in 3 weeks. No big deal.
Well, that's all right. I under promised and over delivered, because at the end of last episode with Chase, and shout out to our guys, Nick Renowitz and Chase Bunker, for filling in the last 2 episodes. But at the time, I didn't know if our schedules were going to link up, and I misread your one text you had sent me, like right at the end of the episode. You sent me a text, and I was like, I told the listeners, I was like, oh man, bummer, I don't think Justin's going to be back next week. But now here we are, new podcast. Justin is indeed back. So how about that? Talk about over delivering for your listeners.
We're finally back. And you know, I joke slow start, but a lot of NBA news, especially one that just happened this morning as of we were starting to record this. But you know, we're going to talk about Bradley Beal being out. We're going to talk about the Nico firing. But before we get into that, I guess the most recent news is this Willie Green news. They fired him, and they started the season 2-10. It hasn't been a great start. You know, the ownership and front office came out saying this is a difficult decisions, blah, blah, blah. But to that, it has felt like the Pelicans have been in this weird, like, can't really win, don't really make an impact in the NBA season weirdness for the last few years. Really, the last time we were hyped about the Pelicans is when they got Zion, and even that hasn't really like become a thing. And I know injuries are a part of that and whatnot, but yeah, here we are. You know, do you see this as like a throw in the towel for the season already type move?
I mean, it might be. The Pelicans are just so disappointing. And like, part of this is Willie Green, I guess, but like a lot of it comes down to the fact that you're right. It's injuries. It's their guys haven't been playing. I mean, you look at Zion now, who's dealing with a hamstring injury here yet again. He's only played 5 games this season so far. This is his 4th straight season now that he's been dealing with. Like, it just feels like somebody is always missing on this roster. Like they're never at full strength. You know, they made the playoffs twice under Willie Green's tenure, but even then, like I remember they got out of the play-in game and it felt like they were really turning the corner. And it's the exit that inspired that famous Charles Barkley, like, we got to send him to Galveston, not Cancun rant. Because they looked so lifeless against the Lakers when they got eliminated. And, you know, again, I don't know how much of this I place on Willie Green. I'm not necessarily surprised, like, somebody has to be a scapegoat. Willie Green's been here for 5 years now. He's 150 and 190 overall. You know, this team has never just accelerated the way they wanted to, but it's hard for me to necessarily look around in what's happened in New Orleans during those 5 years and go, yeah, it was coaching that was bad. It's like, no, they just are hurt all the time. That's what's going on. Zion Williamson, who's supposed to be, you know, one of the premier talents in the NBA, can't stay on the court. Like, we've seen that. We've seen enough of that at this point.
I feel like scapegoat and being injured, not being able to stay on the court are really going to be the topics we keep bringing up this entire podcast. I'm not lying. Like, that is very much where I think we're going with this. But obviously, you know, they got a new EVP last year. So I wonder if that's a part of it too, finding a coach that maybe Joe sees more eye to eye with. I don't know if there was any, you know, back and forth on that, but that also kind of feels like a little bit of what this happens because he took over in April of what was that? April of last year, or this year, I should say, last season. So maybe there's a little bit of that as well, but then it goes back to the, like, this kind of feels like it closes the window on whatever this attempt was.
Yeah, you know, the Pelicans should fully bottom out at this point. Like, they're not playing for anything this season. This roster is going nowhere fast. This is projected to be, you know, I feel like we say this every year, but the 2026 draft is projected to be loaded and filled with talent, but it actually is, though. There's no benefit to them winning games right now, especially if Zion's not healthy. If Zion's not healthy, this roster's going nowhere.
Do you think they should consider trading Zion?
What's his value? Like, that's kind of my problem with Zion is like, what do you even get for Zion Williamson at this point? Like, Zion, I hate saying this, but like, he feels like a concept more than a player at this point. Like, we keep talking about something that is just never consistently happened. Like, why would I give up anything of value for Zion Williamson at this point? I mean, that's something we're going to talk about, not to the Zion extent. It's not that bleak, but like, I think that's what we're going to talk about a little bit with Anthony Davis when we get to the Mavericks talk a little bit later. No, I think the Pelicans should. I don't know if you trade Zion just because, again, the value is so up in the air right now. But like, I look at the rest of this roster and it's like, yeah, you got DeJounte Murray, you've got Jose Alvarado, you've got Herb Jones. Like, those are guys who have value, and maybe you can go get something for. Like, maybe you move a Sadiq Bey and he gets you something. Like, those are the guys that you should be blowing it up, where they genuinely still are like players who are in their prime. Like, all these players, with the exception, I mean, Murray's 29, but like, these are all guys in their late 20s. Like, they're very much still in their prime. I think they could go to other rosters and make an impact right now. Like, that's what the Pelicans should be stripping this for parts right now and trying to give their young guys more minutes.
Well, I guess that's where the weird part with Zion for me comes in, right? Like, if you're stripping the team and not trading Zion, I guess that tells me a little bit you're still trying to build or be around Zion, because when he is healthy and plays, like, he's good. You see the numbers. He's a good player, and he's young. So again, like, you could still potentially do that. But even with the guys you have now, where you go trade and get guys, if Zion can't be healthy and on the court, you don't necessarily know what you need to build around him with.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, the most positive thing you can say for Zion is he's still 25 years old. Like, Zion came in the league at 19. Like, he was super young, but the most he's ever played in a season was 2 years ago. And when he played 70 games 2 years ago. Beyond that, I mean, when his 2021 season, he played 61 games. He was an all-star that year. But like, we're looking at 24, 29, 30 games last year. And so far, just 5 this year. Like, what else there's like? I mean, you're right. He's objectively good when he plays. Like, he's averaged over 22 points every season in the league.
And that's why I wonder if there's a team that would be willing to pay maybe a little bit higher than his diminished value is right now for that.
I just thought of a disgusting trade in my head, and I don't think there's any value to it. But like, could you imagine if like Memphis and New Orleans swapped Ja and Zion? Like, do you think either of those teams would do that? And that is gross, but it feels like that's the ultimate reset for both of them. I don't know. I'm not saying I endorse this for either side, but like, that's the type of like weird swap I feel like you could get with Zion right now, where it's like, yeah, you know what other disgruntled star can we take on our hands?
Well, and I wonder if there's to me, you know, like a team that it would have to work money wise. So like, that's a big part of it. Right. And we're not diving into that bit of it, but like, what about like a team that already has like a top, maybe 3 people on their team, you know, scorer wise, that are not worried about that. So like, the pressure on Zion wouldn't be there. Like to me, like what if it was like a Timberwolves or like a Knicks or something like that, where they pretty much have the scoring figured out, and whatever you can come in and contribute would obviously make big sense. It just would depend on what would have to be sent, obviously, to get them. And I don't think there's anything like that. Or is it like, because, you know, again, back to the Zion wanting to be in a bigger market type thing, I think that was a rumor for a while there too. Is it like a Knicks thing or not a Knicks thing, a Nets thing where, like, I don't know, you find a way to just 2 teams that probably aren't really doing much this year, just swap things to try to save some money or figure out how to get people out of contracts, or swap some picks to maybe clean slate, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like Portland inquired about Zion. I don't remember when. I don't think I'm making this up.
Yeah.
But that's the type of team where I think that makes sense. Like, Brooklyn too, I think you mentioned, makes sense. Like, they have a ton of assets. They're not necessarily, but you know, again, I mean, I think they're all relatively doing the same thing this year anyway. Less of Portland, obviously, but like with Brooklyn, they're all for sure playing for the lottery this year.
That's what I mean. So like, maybe there's a way to do that, and then it's like, cool, we'll take a swing on a low value for Zion, and you know, we didn't think whatever pick down the line would pan out anyway. So let's do that. Let's be bad this season and kind of get some more stuff. I don't know. It just, it's going to be a bummer season, I think, for the Pelicans, who probably had playoff aspirations this year. And I know we don't like jumping to conclusions this early on in the season, but I mean, 2 and whatever it was, I forget the record off the top of my head, but that's not great and not a great start. And at this point, probably tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I think it's crazy that there are 3 teams that somehow have a worse record than 2-10 right now.
That
with
is
Brooklyn,
wild. Yeah.
Brooklyn, Indy, and Washington all at a cool 1-11 right now. Washington currently has lost 10 in a row as we record this podcast. It's again, I feel like, Willie Green definitely may have been the scapegoat here, but it's not necessarily a surprise. They have to pick a direction. But I think, like you said, with the new management coming in, they were going to want their people. That's usually how that works. So,
yeah.
But right, a little bit disappointing because you thought, the Pelicans have been playing for picks for a while now. Like they've gotten a taste of the playoffs and never have gone any further of it. So it's like, that is disappointing when you draft somebody who had as much hype as Zion does. It's like, man, you go back and you watch those Duke Zion tapes and it just like looks like another planet at this point. And it's a shame, like, because it is all injury based. It is essentially really, it feels like in the past few seasons, especially, he's lost the weight. He's taken the fitness part seriously. So that's where it's just still his body is not cooperating. That's extremely unfortunate. Speaking of bodies not cooperating, Bradley Beal is now out for the season. A hip fracture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so this is crazy. Like, I mean, basically, they initially said he had hip soreness. He was out they ruled him out against back on November 8th against Atlanta. And then they ended up going to do an MRI, and it was way worse. It was this fracture, which again has now knocked him out for the rest of the season. I mean, you talk about teams that have disappointed in the West. The Clippers are one of them so far. An excellent season last year. Currently they're 4-8 as of recording this podcast. Now, again, losing a major contributor in Beal, ironically, against Phoenix, the team that, he came over from this past season. And now you're, only 6 games you get of Bradley Beal. Again, averaging just a modest 8 points a game. He was only playing about 20 minutes, but still, like, he was somebody that was expected to really, to give them a lot of punch off the bench. And with a team that's already missing Kawhi Leonard, the good news there is that the ankle injury doesn't seem to be too serious. But again, like they're lacking firepower right now. This is tough. It's going to be, tough sledding a little bit right now for the Clippers.
Yeah, and it does open up the conversation with Bradley Beal too a little bit, like we were just talking about with Zion is like injury risk with Bradley Beal. Though I will admit this one is like a one-off freak injury. Have started to become a very consistent thing with him as to if he's going to be healthy enough to be on the court. Like you said, in the 6 games that he did play, who was supposed to be a good offensive punch for the Clippers, he had career lows. But yeah, I think we're at the point with Bradley Beal is like, they didn't need him to be the Bradley Beal in Washington, but they did need him to be the scoring punch, and now he's out. And now this injury history really becomes a conversation as to what to expect from Bradley Beal for the rest of his career really. Obviously, we won't see him this season, but like going forward.
No, it's super valid. I mean, he's 32 years old at this point, and it's funny because he dealt with injuries so early on in his career, and that was one of the early questions in Washington. That 2012 to 2015 season, he never really played a full year, but then he was pretty healthy. I mean, he played all 82 games in 2018 or 2017 season, and then the 2018-2019 season, he played all 82 for Washington. Even as late as 2020, he's still playing 60. But really, it's like you get to the post-COVID era. And those last 2 seasons of Washington, 40 and 50 games, both seasons in Phoenix, he only played 53. Like, he's obviously only going to play 6 this year for the Clippers when all is said and done. Like, yeah, it's valid. Like, again, you talk about guys where their body has betrayed them a little bit. And I think that's definitely true here with Bradley Beal. Shooting a career low field goal percentage this year overall. His 3-point shot has dipped a little bit. His effective field goal percentage was way down. Like, we're talking 44% down from even the past 2 Phoenix years. He was at 58, 57%. So like, I think the decline was already on a little bit for Bradley Beal, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be it's going to be, what do you have left in the tank? Like, it's, again, that's part of LeBron still playing, like the LeBron impact, right? Is like, we expect these guys to get well into their late 30s, but yeah, there are valid questions to ask what type of, he has going forward and what can he contribute. And for the Clippers right now, like, yeah, they're a bit of a mess. They got to figure it out. Like, Bogdanovich is kind of been out of the rotation. He hasn't played the last 2 games really for them. Maybe he gets back in as they need a little bit more scoring punch. But, for as much as we talk about that, it's their defense has been terrible too. Their defense is 26th in the league right now.
Yeah. And another note, I guess, with Bradley Beal being out, because like a big part of it too is those 3, like all their stars, essentially. We talk about load management between James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Bradley Beal. And now with Bradley out, like, that kind of has to go a little bit out the window, especially with the record already slipping a little bit. Like, you're going to have to push on this a little bit to stay in contention. And with a team like Bradley Beal, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard on paper, that's a team that's a win now team, right? That's not a figure it out down the line, start building some talent team. So, yeah, I think they are going to have to lean on, Zubac and Derek Jones Jr. a little bit more, and like you said, Bogdanovic, and see what they can get out of some of these guys to help at least this season, obviously, because Bradley Beal's gone. He's not coming back this season. So
no, and I mean, this is the risk too with having one of the older rosters in the league. I mean, look, Chris Paul is 40, Brook Lopez, James Harden, Nick Batum, Kawhi, Bogdanovic, like even Chris Dunn now is 31. Like you got for guys that are getting major minutes, it's like you've got the new addition in John Collins is 28. Derek Jones and Zubac are still both 28 as well. You got a few other guys contributing, but largely their bigger minutes are going to older guys. And so that was kind of the risk here. I mean, they've already been mentioned in trade rumors a little bit. Like, I've already seen, them getting floated as maybe a potential Anthony Davis suitor. We'll see if they get involved in that market. And I mean, look, I think it's a lot less bleak for them than the Pelicans, obviously. Like, we're looking at the standings, like they're 4-8, but they're right there with Utah right now for that play-in position.
In their scenario, we can still pull the, like, hey, it's still real early in the season conversation, like we were not having with the Pelicans. But to that point, some advanced stats, like the Clippers are the worst team in the league for opponents' points off turnovers too. So like low ball security it's James Harden. So like you kind of expect that a little bit more, but like you also, Chris Paul's there. Like you got guys that should be able to protect the ball a little bit more. So, just a kind of little side note on that.
Yeah, and I mean, look, like we talk in the Western Conference all the time too. Like the separation is already beginning a little bit, and that's going to matter when this conference is so loaded. I mean, OKC is 12-1 right now. Denver is 9-2. Houston is 8-3.
Sorry, to your conversation with the separation, I would say we've almost already seen it in the East. Like there's already separation. It's Hornets, Nets, Pacers, Wizards, nothing. The rest are at least in contention right now. Yeah. Celtics surprisingly the bottom of that list, understandably with the Jason Tatum injury, but I didn't think they would slip that bad.
The Celtics are... Well, like, we're not going to pivot this into a full Celtics conversation. My bad, not to cut you off, Justin, but like the Celtics are top 10, and I saw this on the Ringer. They're top 10 in offense and defense right now, and they're 6-7 because they just have been horrible in the clutch in so many of these games. I mean, even a game they had their NBA Cup game against the Sixers. They did so much to give that game. They ended up winning the game by 1 point, but they had like a 9-point lead or something with a minute and a half left, and just did everything possible to lose that game. The Sixers just missed a shot at the end of the game. But it's like that's so odd for them to be like, you look at that roster and the way they're playing right now, and it goes, I think there were a lot of people, and we talked in the offseason about them getting rid of some of their older guys. It felt like they're restarting a little bit, but the way the roster's playing right now, I think you look around and you go, hey, we're going to have Jason Tatum to this roster next year. Like, we might just, hang on for a year. Like, give us a sec. We might be ready to contend and be just right back at it.
And not even that, to your point, is like if the games are like that, like, if the pendulum is swayed to the losing side of that ratio, like you would imagine that'll swing back and they'll start getting some of those wins and be right back in it. And I say that to be like 2 more wins and they're sitting at like 4th. You know what I mean? Like it is very close. The Knicks, like, to put it in perspective, the Celtics are 6-8. The Knicks, who are second, are 8-4. Like, it's very close still. Pistons already look like they might be running away with the number one spot. Why does that feel very similar to what the Cavs did last year? But I'll just
we're gonna talk Pistons later. I appreciate you're already shading them. Wow, that's crazy. We didn't even get to that yet. But
and I'm not gonna bring up the fact that the Sixers are higher than the Magic. I did mention that to Chase in the hall the other day.
I don't even want to talk about that though, because how can I be talking smack right now when you talk about the Pistons? They just beat the Sixers last night. They didn't even have all their players, and you want to talk about? I don't know. We'll talk some more East here in a little bit. That's coming a little preview for who's balling, who's fallen. Welcome everybody to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
I haven't done the podcast in so long, I forgot to get a stat.
I thought you were going to say you forgot what the intro is, and I'm like, I promise, buddy, come on. We're 12 years. I know you forget it that quick.
No, I literally forgot to grab a stat, so here we are. Thanks for having me back.
Let me see if I can find I'll pull up I still got Bradley Beal's page up. Let me see if I'll pull up a Bradley Beal stat here real quick. Let's see what his advanced is. Bradley Beal's best overall box plus minus was 3.4 in 2020 and 2021 with Washington.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
His VORP was 2.9. I mean, he was an all-star that year. He made all-NBA third team. That's actually, he's only ever made one all-NBA team, and that was that third team in 2020, 2021.
Okay. I dig it. Listen, Bradley Beal on Washington, because Washington was bad, will always be underrated a little bit.
Dude, that's their only bright spot. You look back at the past 15 years of Wizards basketball, and you have that John Wall Bradley Beal duo is pretty much the only little bit of light in the darkness. It's been pretty miserable other than that, including this season now. We're again 1-11 currently. So yeah, I think a lot of Wizards fans will very fondly reminisce on John Wall and Bradley Beal.
I find it interesting that under the clutch category for teams this season, Oklahoma City Thunder lead the league in clutch points with 18.3 in clutch time situations. The bottom, interesting, they haven't done a lot, so I guess that it's a weird stat to kind of look at, but the Knicks are at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it's early. The Knicks now, too, you got to worry about Brunson. That's the big thing, too, is now Brunson's with that ankle sprain. That, to me, is more, that one's tough. You don't want to rush him back there, obviously. And the Knicks are fine. I'm not really worried about the Knicks at this point.
No, I agree with you. I'm fine with that, too. So
especially in the East. Like I said, we talk about the West and the standings figuring itself out. The East has a lot. You have a lot more leeway to figure it out, to say the least. So.
Yeah, is there a team in the West that's kind of surprised you, at least record-wise, so far?
Yeah, Phoenix probably at 8-5.
Sure,
they've had a really nice start there. Nobody really they're kind of teams that we expected. It's good to see the Spurs doing, we've challenged Wemby a little bit. It's good to see him starting to take the leap and this team taking the leap.
Yep.
I don't want to say Utah is a surprise at 4-8. That feels disingenuous a little bit.
I mean, Trailblazers at 500, 6-6. It feels better than I probably would have given them credit for.
And especially given the fact that their head coach got arrested for gambling at the start of the season. So that's my no, I'm pretty impressed with the job Tiago Splitter's doing there right now. Actually,
that's my favorite. What was the tweets going on? Being like, super bummer to see that my team isn't involved in any of the gambling issues. We're just actually bad.
Give it blame on that.
Oh boy.
What a world. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, and Spotify. I think I said that. I don't remember. Anywhere you can find a podcast, though, you can find us.
Yep, and find us on YouTube. We have a video version of the podcast. If you would like to comment, chime in, you can do so there as well. Just search Driving Dish NBA Podcast on YouTube. You can sign up, and you will get notifications when new episodes are coming out, just like you can on the podcasting platforms.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So, Scapegoat being the name of really the podcast, Scapegoat and Injuries, pretty much.
You are shooting Nico so much bail by giving him Scapegoat credit right off the rip.
I mean,
Really? Are we calling like, I guess a little bit, but
sure.
really?
I mean, think about it this way. There's no way Nico just did that trade without getting any kind of permission somewhere else,
Yeah, no,
which is
ownership
why
should
I
be.
say scapegoat.
No, and I'm with you. Mavericks ownership absolutely should be just as much or get as much
Yeah.
for Nico the way they did. Because you're right. I agree. That trade does not get signed off on without ownership.
Right.
Like, I don't think Nico Harrison just went rogue here and called like I think he orchestrated the trade for sure. But I'm with you. The Mavericks ownership absolutely deserves a ton of flack for getting and probably don't get. I mean, the problem is you can't go fire ownership, unfortunately.
Well, and to that, the only thing you can do from an ownership level to try to get the fans at least bought back in is get rid of the main focal point that they're clearly frustrated with, which was Nico. So that's why I say scapegoat. Yes, did he build the grave that he is in now? Pretty much, yeah, he did. But I say scapegoat in the fact that, like, if fans are like, cool, the problem's fixed, it's like you might have the wool over your eyes a little bit there.
Well, it's like, look, I feel like Nico got shot a lifeline, obviously, over the summer when you get the number 1 overall pick and you get the right to draft Cooper Flagg.
But that's the crazy part to me is, like, you guys have Cooper Flagg and the vibes around the Mavericks are still so terrible.
No, well, and that's the thing is it's like, look, it still remains baffling. And the Luka trade is, if not already, it's certainly a top 3 bad trade in NBA history. It could very well be number 1 by the time all is said and done, honestly. It doesn't look great, of course, then when you look over at Luka and you look over at the Lakers and say, hey, they're 9-4 right now. Luka's basically averaging 40 points, just absolutely phenomenal right now. And Dallas with Cooper Flagg is at the bottom of the Western Conference. This is a team that was in the finals 2 seasons ago. Like, yeah, the vibes are bad. And part of it is, injuries. They missed a lot of time this year. Anthony Davis has been hurt. Daniel Gafford has been hurt. Derek Lively has been hurt. Like, that adds up too a little bit. There's a learning curve for Cooper Flagg. Like, there's just a lot going on. Obviously, Kyrie Irving hasn't played all season, but this was, again, it just goes back to the point that it was like Nico blew up the Luka roster for an extremely short window that now already appears closed. Like, this was a team that was supposed to be nowhere near the lottery at this point. They were supposed to be making a run back to the finals, and instead it doesn't look like anything like it. And so, yeah, I think Nico should have been fired the day after he made that trade, like, point blank period. Like, that was so unforgivable. It also just doesn't help either that, like, other little moves didn't work. Like, for example, the Quentin Grimes trade. Like, Quentin Grimes moving right after that trade, they sent him to the Sixers for Caleb Martin. Quentin Grimes has been pretty good since coming to the Sixers. Like, he's been a super great spark off the bench. It's been a punch that they need where, Caleb Martin hasn't really done much for the Mavericks at all. Like, it's bad trade after bad trade. It needed to be done. You're at the point too with the Luka trade where more damningly, you've lost all credibility with your fans. Like, you've lost you run the risk of building apathy around the franchise, which is crazy when you have somebody of the talent that Cooper Flagg is coming in.
Well,
you have to start over.
And you like the other way you start potentially winning the fan base back is like getting Dirk involved a little bit more, because even Dirk's making some comments. You just get some of the legends in there. Maybe it's just some kind of, like, I don't know, weird role that just gets him in there to make him happy with him. You know what I mean? But, like, even Dirk's making comments like, bro, this is bad. Like,
I mean, Dirk went to Luka's first game out in LA.
Yeah.
I feel like that says so much without actually saying anything. Like, and look, I think the relationship with the Mavs and their fans will heal over time. I think this will get better. I think this is the start of it by firing Nico, but, like, I get it, dude. That is such a, like, and I've seen the Sixers in my fanhood do some mind-numbingly just silly things over the past 15, 20 years of my life. I went bowling last night. I remember when Andrew Bynum got hurt bowling, like that, but, like, buddy, that is a walk in the park compared to a Luka trade. I wouldn't wish a Luka trade on anybody.
Dude, I saw there's I think it's actually here in Jacksonville. I got to look it up. There's a bowling alley here, and I really don't want to say this with confidence because I'm not confident now, so I'm a little nervous to say it. I'm pretty sure there's a bowling alley here that's doing a special. If you go on this certain day and pay to play and bowl over a 200, they'll give you $150.
Sick. Okay.
Right? Like, I'll take that risk. I'll go have a few brews and hopefully win $150.
No, yeah, I would definitely take that chance. Like, I mean, what's the highest you've ever bowled?
Maybe broke on like 200 once. Like, I definitely don't think I've ever broken 200. But like, I wonder what the math is on that, because there's no way they're not doing that knowing that'll be profitable. You know what I mean?
I mean, 200 is hard. Like it is hard to get to 200.
No, I know. But it's
like,
the same thing with it's the same thing with Curtis Dvorak here in Jacksonville. I might have told you about this, but he owns this island.
With the putt thing where it's like
it's a drive. It's like I think it's like 125 island little green. He puts it out in the water, and you could buy, I think it's 6 balls to hit for $10. If you get a hole in one, he'll pay you $10,000.
That's so much harder.
Right, and like because he knows the math on it, and he's like, one in every like however many is going to go in, and he'll still be profitable that way. And so he went out and got a loan for, whatever it is, $50,000 to get those first 5 winners their thing. But after a while, he's just going to be profitable. And so the bowling alley has to have that number too. Whatever it is, like the average bowler can't get over 125 or something like that. I
mean, I was not close to 200 last night. I think the best I've ever bowled in my life is maybe like, and so for some perspective, I bowl like maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Tops, and I enjoy it. But I don't know, like a 180, 190. Like I've been close. I've definitely been close to 200 before, but I've never cracked 200.
So here you go. This is ChatGPT, so take it with a grain of salt. For casual non-league bowlers, the average score is typically 120 to 150.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. They said once you get into like a league bowler, you're consistent, you're playing, you'll get closer to 160, 190. But then a good competitor bowler is 200 plus. So that's why they're doing it. They're betting that maybe 10 people max will get that 200 level.
Yeah.
Because I'm guaranteeing that the bumpers have to be down for that.
No, you ain't getting the money. If you're doing it with the bumpers, you don't deserve the money. That's crazy. You can't use the bumpers.
That'd be wild. But either way, I mean, that's a cool idea. Like, I love that idea. I might actually see if I can find out when that's happening and go there. My wife like refuses to bowl with me. It's kind of funny. She literally hates bowling. She hates it. And she won't go with me, and all I want to do is take her and Quinn bowling, and she won't do it. But then, like, her Titleist rep, Subtle Flex, will invite the Titleist people of Northeast Florida out for a bowling thing, and she'll go. And I'm like, this is not fair. Like, all I want to do is bowl.
I'm starting to take this person. Like, I don't ask for much.
Yeah, I just want to bowl with my family. Is that too much to ask? Oh my gosh!
Oh my god! I'm gonna shoot her a message one of these days and be like, "Go bowling!
Take your boy bowling." Also, like beach bowl in Jacksonville is reopened. Is super nice now. Like it's fun. There's like a really good bar in there.
I'm gonna low key send you a gift card, and then she's not gonna have a choice. So I'll be like, "You have to go. You gotta get Quinny. We gotta get Quinny in there too. Because Quinny will have fun at the bumpers. You can band it as like a brand it as a family activity."
Dude, she loves going there just to go into the arcade. And what's even better is I don't have to pay for it. She just hits the buttons and thinks she's playing. That's like,
great.
Dude,
that's good. She's going to clean you out in 3 years when she starts.
The 2 biggest like white trash parenting hacks I could ever give you is 1, take your kid to the arcade when they're young because they won't realize they're not playing. They just like pressing the buttons. There's a lot of lights.
Right.
The other one is tell your kid you're taking them to the zoo and go to like PetSmart and just let her look at the birds.
I mean, hey, no, I get it. It makes sense. Honestly, look at the fish too. You get a little like aquarium deal.
She's all in on it. My wife is like, you are such a white trash, taking your kid to the PetSmart.
Have you seen this economy out here?
Right. Like, I don't have time for a zoo membership. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I say that I do have a zoo membership. Also a Subtle Flex. But
I was going to say, like, I feel like you're at the zoo like every week. What do you mean?
Quinn and I went the other day, and I think the monkeys are starting to recognize Quinn because they come to the because they come to the glass and they bang on the glass at her.
She's gonna start freeing him like Harry Potter.
Yeah, dude, she was like freaked out. This one, like literally, I mean, full on jumped into the glass at her, and I was like, oh my god.
I think it's great. No, I listen. All jokes aside, I don't want the monkeys jumping at me. It'd be kind of crazy too.
Dead serious. Like my initial reaction was to back away, and I did not grab Quinn, and I felt terrible. I was like, oh, I'm a bad parent. I didn't grab her. She was about to get wrecked by that thing. Oh man. But either way, so I guess what I'm trying to say as like a last thought with Dallas is like, even though it's bad, I guess you still have the potential, depending on where he is, to trade Anthony Davis to try to get assets.
Yeah.
They do have very limited flexibility right now because of past trades, which is also objectively hilarious. Like seriously, I don't think they have control of their first round picks for a while. And so maybe Anthony Davis can alleviate some of that. So, like, if you can do that, get, like, this year's pick back or whatever, get a pick back for this year, because this year's not going to be good. You get another person to put around Cooper Flag. You know, maybe there's a thing with Kyrie. I don't know what you do there. Like, you know, so there's a lot of options, at least in the now aspect, for the players that are your win now players to potentially keep building around Cooper Flag, which is what you have to do. I just hope they do the right step back rebuild properly process, which is not in Dallas's forte, obviously. You know, and I know Mark Cuban's made comments about the salary and cap mass management for Harrison, which is another big part of it. And what we were just referencing, not having a lot of the picks is a big part of that too. So, yeah, I think it's not going to be a fun season, but we kind of joked about that being the case when they traded Luka anyway. I think you used Anthony Davis to try to get some kind of assets back, since Anthony Davis may want to go somewhere that is a win now. The Clippers kind of make sense now, potentially, with Bradley Beal being out. Like, you could get a third potential scorer in that option. It would be an interesting fit to see how he fit there, but that would be maybe somebody to go look at, because I would imagine they're potentially going to be looking as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's what is the value of Anthony Davis right now? Like, this is a guy in his 30s who's dealt with a big injury history over his career. He's got a ton of mileage on his tires. He's still Anthony Davis when he's healthy. Like, don't get me wrong, he's one of the best defensive players in the league, one of the better bigs we've ever seen. Like, there's still value out there. I think the Clippers package I keep seeing floated is like John Collins, Brook Lopez, and like maybe Bogdanovich. They think would maybe get it done. But yeah, I mean, I think Dallas probably now is in a position, which is so bitter for their fans to take, again, after they were so close to being in the finals, but like they probably are in a position where it's smarter to tear it down and build around Cooper Flag. Like, Anthony Davis will get you something back, maybe recoup some of that draft capital that you just mentioned that they've lost over the years. Like, somebody trading like Kyrie can still maybe get you something like, but even, I mean, you know, Klay Thompson would be another trade candidate as well. But I think that's a situation too, where obviously he's been off to a rough start, to say the least, this year. So you wonder what that is there. But yeah, I mean, it feels like at this point they should just try to surround Cooper Flag with as much young talent as possible and start building up for another run, because the short window that they already had is just kind of closed given the injuries.
Yeah, I agree. I just had a weird thought, and I'm almost in my head, I'm almost positive the answer. No, I'm very positive the answer is Anthony Davis. But if you're a team looking to injury-prone bigs that could potentially be on the market, and we've talked about both of them, Anthony Davis and Zion, which one would you consider? I'm very positive Anthony Davis is the answer, but yeah, Zion's upside from being so much younger and potentially able to put it together and get healthy.
What team am I? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I'm the Clippers, it's Anthony Davis. I'm trying to win now. Like, any team that's trying to actively win should be going for Anthony Davis. Like, even with his injury risk,
doesn't need the ball and potentially helps Kawhi and Harden a lot more, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't need the ball, but he's going to command attention, and so that will alleviate the pressure on Zion, on Kawhi and Harden, and really any of the other guards, but those two guys specifically. So I agree with you. I just feel like if there's a team who feels like their window might be a little more like 2 to 4 years, maybe Zion's more of a consideration at that point.
I don't know. Like that's just it's so tough for me
Hmm.
to consider Zion because Zion doesn't play. Like
Yeah, yeah,
how can I expect it if I'm a contender and I'm playing meaningful minutes? How can I expect this guy to hold up on a playoff run? We've never seen it.
yeah. No, I know.
It's a lot of
I
risk.
just
Like, and that's
both
and
are risky. Yeah, yeah.
I just think Anthony Davis we've seen make deeper playoff runs for. Like
Of
I've seen
course.
Anthony Davis win a title. Like
Yeah, he literally won. Yeah.
yeah, I just haven't seen it as much with Zion, so it's unfortunate. But all right, who's balling? Who's balling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always like start with the good before we start with the bad. So Justin, I'll start with you this week. Who is balling?
Who's balling for me is gonna go to Under Armour, or I guess technically Steph Curry, who is agreeing to end their 13-year partnership with Under Armour. The announcement came out just the other day for a Curry brand to now like go out and I guess find a new sportswear brand that wants to get things going. I guess this opens up a potential bigger conversation, whereas I'm not, a big shoe guy like that. But it does feel in general, maybe even jerseys included, that like sportswear doesn't seem to be as popular as it once was, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from basketball shoes side of things.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
think
I don't know.
no, I don't fully disagree there. And I mean, look, this is a big bet for Steph Curry, obviously, and a big
Of
loss
course,
for Under
yes.
Armour. I mean, you want to talk
Yeah.
about Under Armour and their entrance into the basketball market. Under Armour has been around for ages. They would talk about their base layers and for
Yeah,
running
yeah.
and for stuff like that. I think they've had a lot of impact. I mean, their big entrance into the basketball world was with Steph Curry. Like that was a
Yeah.
very lucrative, profitable partnership. So it'll be interesting. I mean, Curry still has ownership of his own side brand, so that'll be cool. We're interested to see what they do. I'm interested to see if he can, build that into its own thing. For Under Armour, yeah, this is a big, like I got to pull up their roster actually. Under
Well, while you
Armour.
do that, I just looked up sportswear like data in terms of sales, and it says global sportswear market is actually up 7% in recent years, but it's projected to slow now through 2029 about 6%, which it's still expanding, just not as much as it did. They're pulling numbers. They said during like the COVID stuff was a big boom of this,
Yeah.
which I guess kind of makes sense, but also doesn't at the same time. We're all stuck inside. Who cares what shirt you're wearing? But either way, I guess they said Puma lowered its sales outlook, but like JD Sports is up. So like it's kind of across the board, like up and down depending on the brand. But either way,
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. So De'Aaron Fox is probably the biggest athlete that Under Armour has left now, basketball wise, because
wow,
Joel obviously left too, with Joel going to Skechers recently. And I mean, that's part of it. Like I think there's all sorts of factors in there. There's there's more brands than ever. I mean, you talk about overseas, like you talk about Li Ning, you talk about Anto, which Klay Thompson has been super involved with. And, just sneakers go through trends right now. Like it's crazy. I mean, you talk about Jordans, for example, Jordan brand and the retro ones, which have been such a money printing machine, especially when you release any OG colorway. Like, dude, you see
mm-hmm.
them in outlets now. Like
Yeah,
shattered backboard ones were in the outlets. Like that's such an unfathomable sentence for people
yeah,
who are in the sneaker community. Like, and it all just goes through cycles. I think right now it's just comfort is in. Like cozy boy is in essentially. Like you just which makes sense. You want to be as comfortable as possible. But like that's where I think you're seeing brands like Hoka, like On Running, like Brooks, like Asics a little bit. If kind of taken, New Balance with all their dad shoes. Like that's what's kind of been in right now. I mean, even more than some of the traditional markets, right? Like with Nike, it feels like Nike stock. I mean, Nike or with Nike, where they've been succeeding more is with the Dunks, I feel like, and the SBs. Like it feels like those are back in where like Air Forces have taken a step back, Jordans and the Air Maxes have all taken a step back. Like Adidas had with Ultra Boosts, and now it's kind of pivoted to the Sambas a little bit or more in. Um, yeah, I think it's a factor of things, but like I don't think your intuition there is wrong in the sense that
yeah.
the
Things are
more
things are
traditional
off.
sneakers, like there's just more competition out there. It has changed a little bit. And even with apparel, like I think apparel, there's a lot of different options out there now for sure. And I mean on the workout front, like you think about even the more the quote unquote like luxury fitness brands that have jumped into more, like think like the Lululemons and like the Aloes and the Vioris of the world and such. Like there's more out there than ever. And also the economy is kind of crazy right now. So like I think people are tight. Like I'm not even trying to like say that to be political. I just think the economy is extremely tight right now. And so I think you're going to see that coming up a little bit. Like people, if I'm spending, you want it to be quality.
Yeah. I think Chris Paul should come out with a USB charger, a CP3 USB.
Yeah.
Print money, bro. Print money.
I mean, Chris might be all right, at least. I don't think he's one that's term for endorsements. I mean, he's still a Jordan brand too, I think, anyway. So he's extra good.
Well, and he does the endorsements with like State Farm too. Still, right?
True. Yeah, Cliff Ball. Yeah, I forgot about that. Jeez. A lot going on there.
Or get like Allen Iverson can do. He really, if he isn't already, and maybe he is, but like AI needs to get involved with AI in some sort of sponsorship or like sportswear deal.
All those tweets still make me laugh when it's like AI is going to lay off 9 million jobs, and it's like, why would Allen Iverson do this? Like,
dude, think about it though. Like an AI custom shoe, like the shoe scan, like the AI scans your foot, makes you a custom shoe, but it's like Allen Iverson endorsed. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like, and then he can come out and tell people how it's going to make him better at basketball or something. Like,
he's been on kind of a media blitz recently. He's been doing a lot of podcasts. He's been doing a lot of like, I think he just had a book come out. But it's good to see AI out there. I know he's been sober too the last like year or so he was talking about. So that's great. We love to see that for AI. My favorite Sixer ever. I feel like that goes without saying. All right, Ballin for me is the Pistons, winners of 9 straight, who we talked a little bit earlier, at the top of the Eastern Conference as we speak. And really impressively, doing it without Cade Cunningham at portions of this time. Like they haven't had a full season from everybody really. I think even last night against the Sixers, maybe their most impressive win of the season, but it's everybody stepping up, between, you want to talk about like Jalen Duran continuing to take steps, like Osar's been really solid. The Duncan Robinson pickup has been pretty decent for them so far. I mean, obviously it's all about Cade still. Like Cade too, at the end of the day, has just continued to play at that superstar level. But it is the fact that like they've got a lot of depth here, like with Holland still, with Isaiah Stewart, with Javonte Green, with Karis LeVert in there now. Like they're running 9-10 deep every night essentially. And for a team that, obviously broke out a little bit last year, the question is like, with a little bit of a tough exit against the Knicks, but, can you maintain that momentum? Yeah, so far for the Pistons, the answer has been a resounding yes. Super encouraging start to the year for them.
Yeah, and honestly, what's kind of surprising too, at least from the advanced stats side of things, like about average offensive rating, but defense has really been showing up. They got a 6.1 net rating. With an average offensive rating. So like that tells you all you need to know about the defense, top 3 in the league. I agree with you. It's very exciting to see and happy to see that they're up there. It just, because it's a new team at the top, is why it gives me a little bit of Cavs vibes like last year. So maybe it's because we got burned on that last year. It's like, let's see it in the playoffs. We did see the Pistons in the playoffs, and it was good. So, like, maybe that's a good counter argument. But
my counter argument is that I've only had, the Cavs last year. We've seen them now, or going into last year, we had seen them kind of flame out of the playoffs in 3 straight seasons. And so, like, it really was tough to see them go out like that again. The Pistons had a very competitive series against the Knicks. I mean, if anything, I feel like the Pistons feel like they left it on the table. They still stood them in playing Game 7 in that series. I don't really look at that as a flame out. Like, I felt like that Knicks team was better than that Pistons team. So, I don't think there was any shame in that, I guess. I think this year will be the first year where there's some expectations for sure. But, like, I'm not ready to just, like, give them the Cavs, where, like, I'm not giving them any slack yet. Like, they gotta flame out against teams that also I feel like they probably should have beaten the next year or two. Like, now, if they're the 1 seed or the 2 seed and they go out and they lose, in the first round, then maybe it's a different story. But, like, I also just think it depends on who the matchup is against.
Sure. No, I agree with you. I'm on board with that. I can get behind that.
All right, who's fallen for you this week?
Fallin for me is going to Patrick Beverley. I don't know if you've heard, but TMZ Sports is reporting that he has been arrested in Texas for felony assault charges. He was brought into custody on Friday. According to the records, it was a charge against Beverley for assault on a family member, household member, with impending breath or circulation, which is a third-degree felony. His bail was at $40K. He's also taken to social media to say, like, the report that's come out is not the actual story. It sounded like it had to do something with his sister and his sister's boyfriend. So, make assumptions there if you want. We'll wait to see where the courts handle this. But he has made a point to say that he's going to come out and tell, I guess, his side of the story as to what happened.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we don't want to rush to judgment there. Right. Kind of a rough week. I mean, between that and then Pat Bev also, I don't know if you saw this, but like there's a little bit back and forth with Klay Thompson. They had a segment on Pat Bev's podcast, and they were kind of talking about Klay's slow start. And like, frankly, they blamed it on Megan Thee Stallion. Like they're just, talking about what a woman can do to guys and use some like kind of not great language. And so, Klay kind of called them out in the Instagram comments and was like, yo, this is really disappointing. Like, how would you feel if I talked about your wives? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, which good for Klay, man. Stick up for your girlfriend. Like shouts Klay for that. I respect that. So yeah, kind of definitely a weird week for Patrick Beverley for sure. All right, falling for me this week is Christian Brown, I should say, excuse me, who's going to miss 6 weeks here with the sprained ankle injury. Obviously a pretty big loss for the Nuggets here. This came after James Harden stepped on his foot in the last game against the Clippers. They've got 17 games they're scheduled to play during the next 6 weeks is what ESPN is saying. But I mean, he's a huge part of the rotation, obviously. Like he's playing 29 minutes a game. He's their fourth leading scorer behind the big three, obviously, of Jokic, Murray, and Aaron Gordon. I mean, this is, thankfully it doesn't look to be like a high ankle sprain or anything too crazy here. But I mean, this is not an insignificant injury. Maybe you get a little more Tim Hardaway, a little more Bruce Brown, Peyton Watson in the meantime. But yeah, for a guy that's been a big part of the rotation, and we talk about starting the season strong, like Denver, number 2 in the Western Conference right now, a team that we expect to be hanging around for most of the season and contending and making another run at this title loss. This is going to be a tough one to be without him for 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's been playing well, 11 points per game, almost 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the season so far before the injury. And even in that game, played about 16 minutes, 6 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, was having a really good game for his own right. So a team that's obviously going to be battling towards the top of the division with Oklahoma City, you don't really want to have any reason to falter, but here we are. So, now you just hope he gets back and ready for a good playoff run when the time comes.
Yeah, well, 100% agree with that. All right, so shall we switch into grid here a little bit? Sneak some Immaculate Grid in. Haven't played in a few weeks.
Let's get the tab going.
See if if it's heavy stat based on a Saturday.
It is.
It is. We've had a good episode. We can kind of run through it quick. And I mean, these are good. I'd like the teams involved at least a little bit different. All right, so again, for the podcast listeners, if you want to watch the Immaculate Grid, just search YouTube, Drive and Dish NBA Podcast. You can see all the videos there. For the podcast listeners, though, this week our columns from left to right are the Spurs, All NBA, and 10,000 career rebounds. Our rows from top to bottom are the Lakers, the Hawks, and Defensive Player of the Year. So I don't think right off the rip we have any Alfred Payton connections.
Sadly,
can't say he was all NBA or had 10K rebounds or anything like that. None of the team link ups work. But definitely pretty good amount of options here already. We mentioned Thiago Splitter a little bit earlier.
I was thinking Splitter. Yeah, Splitter for the Hawks, Spurs.
Yeah.
Murray also works.
Yep.
Who else was involved in that trade? Was it just that? Murray.
Oh God, I forget now.
Who went over there? Yeah, I feel like there might have been one more person.
No, there definitely was. I'm just trying to. They're kind of blanking on me right now.
Yeah.
There's somebody with Hawks and Spurs. Like I don't remember it. He's an Immaculate Grid darling, but Dwayne Dedman was in. I don't remember if he was in Atlanta or not. He was definitely in San Antonio.
Did Teague ever end up there? Schroeder? I feel
I
like
don't
those
think
two guys
so.
are everywhere.
Schroeder might have. Schroeder's definitely in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Teague was
Oh, I
actually
know.
Teague was
So was
definitely in
Teague.
Atlanta
Yeah.
too.
So was Teague. Yeah.
I don't think either of them ever ended up on San Antonio.
Okay.
Like Schroeder would be the one I would think would be more likely to end up there than Teague. Teague
Yeah.
definitely didn't. Let's go Thiago though for that. Let's go because we mentioned him doing a good job over in Portland earlier in the interim.
There it is.
3%. Wow. I kind of thought that'd be a little bit because he was on some of the finals teams with San Antonio in the like early 2000s. Yeah. I think he was on the 14 team, I believe, that won the ring.
Yeah, he might have been.
So, all right. I mean, do we want to do Lakers Spurs and just do all the player connections first?
Sure. Paul Gasol ended up on the Spurs for a second.
Yeah, Powell was definitely on the Spurs for a sec. Dennis Rodman works for both. He was an end-of-career guy on both of those teams.
Did Drummond ever play for the Spurs?
No, I don't think so. He played for the Lakers for sure.
And then Aldridge never went over to the Lakers, right?
No, I mean, that was that free agency where he ended up in San Antonio. They were trying to recruit him.
Yeah.
No, he never ended up there. I'm trying to think of guys like, I feel like there's a big ones we're missing.
Shooters.
So I guess like Rodman is a pretty big name.
Who was with the big three? Did anybody on those teams ever end up going over to the Spurs or going over to the Lakers after?
No, that's the thing is like they all were lifers. I mean, Duncan was a lifer, Ginobili was a lifer. I'm talking about
the guys that would have played with them, the other two positions essentially throughout those years.
Oh, like all the like supporting cast.
Yeah.
Oh, no, who played there? No, this is one of the bigger ones I'm thinking of for sure. Robert Horry played for the Lakers and the Spurs because he won titles there.
That's a good one.
I don't know if that's my like number one though. Either way, that would definitely work. I'm like running through the other like usual grid darlings. Like I don't think Ish Smith doesn't work there. Lou Will doesn't work there.
Jeff Green.
I don't think Jeff Green works there.
Who else am I thinking of? Derek Fisher's Lakers never went to Spurs.
No, he never went to Spurs. Iconic shot against them, obviously. That's the 24-second shot.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Well.
All right. So who do we have again?
What did we say? You said Robert
Gasol, Rodman, and who was the third one we just mentioned?
Didn't you say Horry? Was that right?
Yeah, Horry. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like Horry out of those three.
Robert.
Yeah, big shot, Bob.
We can do that.
I think it's probably gonna be high, but like whatever. Like you just got to be chalky sometimes.
Is it H?
H-O, yeah, Horry.
Yeah, there he is. Okay. Yeah,
49. Good Lord. Wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Powell was there late. All right. Yeah, wow. 49%. Good for big shot, Bob, man.
Oh, did Chris Paul make it to the Lakers?
No, I don't think he ever. No, because he got vetoed.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. No. Never mind.
All right.
Thinking Dwight Howard, but
Spurs Defensive Player of the Year. I know Kawhi won.
I feel like isn't this one where like one of the bigger ones didn't, and we always get it wrong?
I don't think Duncan ever won. I'm pretty sure Duncan never won. Where it's like I think David Robinson did. I know Kawhi did.
Yeah, Kawhi did. Yep.
I feel like it is. It's the one because we got burnt by that one time, and it stuck with me because it's like you would think he'd be the guy to do it. So to that point, I don't know if there's anybody other than Tim Duncan and Kawhi. I mean, Wemby hasn't won it yet. Like Wemby, you would think will win one at some point. I mean, he might win it this year, but So I don't know. You tell me. You want to go Kawhi? He's a little bit younger.
Sure.
David Robinson we could use for never mind.
26.
Yeah, okay. I mean, David's one. I mean, we could use David Robinson for DPOY and 10K career rebounds. He definitely has that. I mean, there's a lot of people who have that. But like,
we can do
I think he'll be lower there because I think a lot of people will use him for the Spurs DPOY.
David Robinson. There you go. 9%.
Yeah, 9%. Okay.
Right.
All NBA Defensive Player of the Year.
Should we go Rodman just to round out? Do we do Rodman just to round out?
He had to be All NBA, right? Like
There's no way he wasn't, right?
That's the only thing that's holding me up. Yeah, he has to be. He has to be. We got to do it. You're right. I don't know. I'm psyching myself out there, but like he had to have made a third team. There's no way that it's Rodman. Yeah. Okay, 3%. Nice, good job. I want to look at Rodman now.
Big guys, yeah.
Rodman did make. Yeah, okay. He was the. Oh, did he only do it once? No, twice. Okay. He made third team in 91-92 with Detroit, and he made third team 94-95 with San Antonio in the in-between years before he went to the Bulls. I always forget Dennis Rodman ended his career with the Mavericks. That I definitely forget every time. I remember like the Spurs and the Lakers, but all right. Yeah, so Rodman would have worked for Lakers All-NBA, though I guess he didn't win it with the Lakers.
I mean, Lakers Shaq.
Yeah. How much time do you got? Kobe, Shaq, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Magic.
Do you think Derek Fisher ever got like a third team All-NBA?
No way. I mean, like guys in the 80s, it's like, James Worthy did. Kareem, obviously.
What about I'm trying to think of like random one-offs that would have gotten it like one year.
The problem is with All-NBA, it's like it's easier with All-Star than it is with All-NBA because All-NBA is like, hard to make. Like there's only, 15 players that get All-NBA every year.
I know.
I mean, even modern guys like Anthony Davis, we haven't mentioned, who we've talked about a bunch in this pod, who's All-NBA there.
Oh, LeBron. Did you say LeBron? Yeah, LeBron.
AD might be a good one.
Yeah, AD might be good. Let's do AD.
Because I think with him being newer and with him, people like he's not a guy that I think people only associate with the Lakers. Yeah, nice.
4% is good.
For the 10K rebounds of the Lakers, I mean, we used Rodman, so he's off. Shaq is an obvious one. Wilt Chamberlain is an obvious one. Dwight's a good one, honestly. Dwight might be a good one there. Yeah, I think we could have done Dwight as All-NBA too. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Good call. I like Dwight there. I think he'd be a lot.
Do we think Trae Young ever got an All-NBA?
He had to have, right? Like I'm pretty convinced. Like the year they went to the conference finals or something like that, I feel like he might have made third team.
Like a Millsap, Horford,
Horford would be the guy of those teams that Kyle Korver and DeMar Carroll and that whole group. Like Horford would be the guy I would think would make it. I mean, other guys in general, like the obvious answers there, or more to me obvious in my opinion, are like Dominique Wilkins, Joe Johnson, Bob Pettit, if you really want to go old school. No, Vince was old by the time he got there.
That's fair.
I don't think there's anybody like one-off recently that would have got it. Mutombo might have got it there. I'm not confident enough in that to guess it.
We could do Mutombo 10,000.
We could do Mutombo in 10,000 there.
Let's do Mutombo there.
Yeah, I'm game with that.
It's D-E-K, D-I-K?
D-I, yeah, D-I-K, yeah, there he is.
Wow.
46, wow. Yeah,
Jeez.
I mean, they don't have a ton of big men is the thing. There isn't necessarily that iconic big man I think about in Atlanta like that I'd be like, oh yeah, 100% is 10K, where it's like, yeah, Mutombo, as 10K. All-NBA, I mean, like Trae had to have made one that year, at least 1 year.
Take a shot on Trae?
I think so. Like, I don't think he did recently, but I'm convinced he's made it 1 year at least.
Yeah,
nice.
He did.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. I want to look up Trae Young while you scroll down to those popular
for the 10.
I guess they had Dwight too. Actually, Dwight would have worked there.
Kembe. See if any of these guys stick off. Dwight Howard. Tim Duncan.
I'm trying to remember if Parrish played there at all. I'm not 100%. Trae Young. Actually, let me look at who. Al Horford made one All-NBA team, and it was with Atlanta. It was in 2010, 2011. He made NBA third team. Yeah, Trae Young also only made one. It was that 2022 or 2021, 2022 year. He made third team that year. So yeah, he got one. 4-time All-Star, all rookie, obviously. All right, yeah, not bad. So, do you want to pull up the most popular guesses before we do our recap ours one last time? We were a little lower or higher on the rarity score, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Most popular answers this week for Lakers and Spurs was Robert Ory. For Lakers All-NBA was Kobe Bryant. For Lakers 10K rebounds was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. For Hawks and Spurs, DeJounte Murray. For Hawks All-NBA, Dominique Wilkins. For Hawks 10K rebounds, Dikembe Mutombo. For Spurs Defensive Player of the Year, it was David Robinson. For DPOY and All-NBA, Michael Jordan. And for Defensive Player of the Year and 10K career rebounds, Hakeem Olajuwon.
So only three worked for that. Hold on, I wanted to see Kawhi. Alvin
Robertson. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one to know. That's a good guess. I would have never got that in a zillion years. All right. Our grid one last time. Robert Ory for Lakers and Spurs. Anthony Davis for Lakers All-NBA. Dwight Howard for Lakers 10K rebounds. Tiago Splitter for Hawks and Spurs. Trae Young for Hawks All-NBA. Dikembe Mutombo, Hawks 10K rebounds. Kawhi Leonard for Spurs Defensive Player of the Year. Dennis Rodman for Defensive Player of the Year and All-NBA. And David Robinson for Defensive Player of the Year and 10,000 career rebounds. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys, as always. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And we're on YouTube. Just search Drive and Dish NBA podcast on YouTube. You can subscribe, sign up. You'll get notifications when we are live and watch along there.